Morphic resonance is a connection across time from the past to the present. And it's a process that occurs between organized patterns of activity on the basis of similarity. What it means, in effect, is that each species has a kind of collective memory. So every giraffe tunes in, by morphic resonance, to the form and to the behavior of previous giraffes. Every crystal, as it crystallizes, tunes in to the way that previous crystals of the same chemical crystallized in the past. So there's a kind of memory given by morphic resonance in all kinds of things. And in the realm of animal behavior, for example, it leads to quite striking predictions. If rats learn a new trick here in London, then rats all around the world should be able to learn the same trick quicker, just because the rats have learned it here. The more that learn it, the easier it should get everywhere else. And there's already evidence that this actually happens from studies of rats in laboratories. When lots of rats have learned something, other rats all around the world find it easier to learn. And this doesn't depend on any normal kind of connection between the different rats or the places. It happens because of morphic resonance on the basis of similarity. The same applies to crystals. When a new chemical is made for the first time, it's usually very hard to crystallize it. And as time goes on, it gets easier to crystallize all around the world. And I think the reason for this is that morphic resonance connects up the crystals so they tune into a kind of collective memory. So morphic resonance works through morphic fields, the organizing fields of chemicals and biological systems. And the word morphic comes from the Greek word for form. So it's a kind of resonance to do with form, pattern, and organization. I take synchronicity to be more a matter of meaningful coincidences, where seemingly separate events coalesce to give a kind of meaning.
All right, guys, welcome back to the... It is that fucking mosquito.
I hate mosquitoes.
There's one buzzing around in here, and I can hear it through my headphones. It's been fucking with me for like half an hour.
Maybe it's a drone.
Anyway, we're going to be talking with Rupert Sheldrake a little bit later. But first, the gaseous Graham Dunlop. How's it going tonight, buddy?
Gaseous or gaseous?
Gaseous.
Oh.
Gaseous?
Morpheus.
Gaseous. Morpheus?
I'm like water. I can be in many different forms.
3. Everything can be in 3 forms.
Hey, man. I'm doing good.
Solid, liquid, gas.
I'm excited
That's
as usual. We've got Red Pill Junkie here with us, too, who's a infamous Fortean blogger at many sites, like Intrepid Magazine, Mysterious Universe, and The Daily Grail. So welcome back, Red.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good to hear you again, buddy. I didn't know you were only 14.
Fortean.
Oh.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about being a Mexican. You know, you can hide your age and other things pretty well.
Like what other things?
Let's not go there.
So yeah, we're pretty excited to have Rupert Sheldrake on. That was a great chat with him. He's doing some fantastic stuff.
Yeah, it would have been nice to go a little bit longer, but he's a busy man, so we'll take what we can get. I think we ended up with about 20 minutes, give or take a minute or two. And he was just waiting to go on his thing, right? He had a thing that night.
Yeah. He was at a conference or something like that. I got an email this morning from my mom.
Your mom?
Yeah, it said forwarded to her from our friend saying, "Please, this is a very interesting article. Please forward it to Graham. Thanks." And it was from Rupert Sheldrake.
He emailed her? Oh, no, the article.
It was an article, yeah. That's not really...
That is not a synchronicity.
No, I'm not saying it was.
Hey, did you go to the website? Are you on the website?
Yeah.
Did you go to the thing?
Yeah.
Did you see the comment?
Yeah.
About the 1111?
Yeah, that's exactly when it says synchronicity of the highest order.
think that's worth anything.
I was going
It
to
turned out that
comment
the
back
synchronicity-
saying that actual synchronicity didn't turn out. So
Yeah, so that makes this one probably nothing. That's even worse. That actually compounds the other one.
1111.
Yeah. Makes it worse. If it would have been 1111 on a real synchronicity, it would have like positively exponentiated the synchronicity, but instead it's negative. So instead of like 10 to the power 2, it's 10 to the negative power 2.
Yeah, I did find that kind of ironic. So, Red, what do you got for us this week? Anything new and exciting in the world of strange?
I think I have one story that is very appropriate to be shared with you guys for the intro before the Rupert Sheldrake interview.
Ah, okay.
So here is an article that was published on the English newspaper, the Daily Telegraph, last week. No, actually, well, Tuesday, July the 8th, so no. Well, anyway, so...
Isn't that
this
today?
is the, no,
That's tomorrow.
I think this... That's
Wow,
the date.
It's a good
So
article. You're reading
it's
it
a
from the
message-
future.
It's a message from the future. So anyway, the headline of the article is this: BBC staff told to stop inviting cranks onto science programs. And this is what it reads.
Sorry, hang on a sec. BBC staff?
BBC staff.
Wow, okay.
So this is what it says. BBC journalists are being sent on courses to stop them inviting so many cranks onto programs to air, quote, marginal views. The BBC Trust on Thursday published a progress report into the corporation's science coverage, which was criticized in 2012 for giving too much airtime to critics who oppose non-contentious issues. The report found that there was still an over-rigid application of editorial guidelines on impartiality, which sought to give the other side of the argument, even if that viewpoint was widely dismissed. Some 200 staff have already attended seminars and workshops, and more will be invited on courses in the coming months to stop them giving undue attention to marginal opinions, that's in quotes. The trust wishes to emphasize the importance of attempting to establish where the weight of scientific agreement may be found and make that clear to audiences, wrote the report authors. And okay, so let's stop here for a minute. So here it says that the BBC received a lot of complaints in 2012 for giving too much airtime to cranks. Now, I ask you guys, who do you think sent those criticisms?
Psychop.
Exactly. Psychop, skeptic groups.
Wow, yeah.
It doesn't say here, but it's obvious.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
are the guys who are always complaining. And also, let's stop here for a minute because, the rest of the article talks about climate change and how the BBC
That's what it's
invited
all
people.
about, isn't it?
Well, that's one
They
of the
don't want
main-
people on there that don't agree with the fucking doctrine.
Yeah, well, okay. And you guys know that in this particular topic, I may be aligning more with the quote-unquote official or sanctioned, view on the
97%.
subject. Meaning that I am maybe more convinced than you guys that climate change is of anthropogenic origin.
Climate
But anyway-
warming change?
So, but getting again, the reason why I chose this one to be discussed with you guys here prior to the Sheldrake interview is because if we understand this correctly, this means that Rupert Sheldrake will never set foot on a BBC studio again, or at least it won't be invited to give his opinion on some scientific topic deemed, quote unquote, too controversial by, skeptics.
Huh. So how do they get to have that much clout? That's what gets me.
Because they are militants, they are on this shit 24/7. They have a lot of support, and they make it their business to complain about who they deem are not worthy of receiving so much attention by the mainstream media.
I think Sheldrake will be okay still.
No, I don't know.
After what happened?
No, he's right in the thick of it, man. They have a hate on for him big time.
Yeah,
Psychop and the skeptic guys.
Remember what happened with TEDx?
Yeah. So do you think Philip Comella, one of our next guests, talking about the collapse of materialism would be welcome on BBC?
Maybe.
I doubt it.
If he gives kind of from a philosophical standpoint. Look, the thing is that BBC, like any company, they are afraid of being sued, and there are some topics that are deemed more controversial than others. If you're talking about climate change, there's one thing. You're talking about, for example, in the United States, the anti-vax movement. That's even more controversial because it has the potential to really harm.
I can totally understand that, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know, and you mentioned earlier that I contribute to several sites, mainly the Daily Grail. And on the Daily Grail, we deal with very controversial subjects on a weekly basis, and sometimes members post or comment on things that I don't happen to agree with. For example, take chemtrails, I'm completely skeptical about the whole chemtrail conspiracy theory. To me, it has really no basis whatsoever, but that doesn't mean I'm going to ban or censor a member for posting something about chemtrails. We don't go there. And maybe I think the reason we choose to conduct ourselves that way is because perhaps we give more credit to our audience than the BBC, because the skeptic argument is, oh, why never think of the children, the people who are, according to them, too stupid to know when any given theory lacks any merit whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So basically they are the grown-ups who are trying to prevent the children, meaning the rest of us, from polluting their minds with nonsense. And we, on the Daily Grail, we choose to think of our audience as adults, capable of discernment, capable of making their own decision, making their own choices, of researching the matter further.
I think you're okay as long as I don't know. Because the BBC's got some pretty fucked up shit on it. Like, I've watched stuff on the BBC channel that's crazier than, like, fucking Ancient Aliens. And there's some pretty crazy episodes of Ancient Aliens. I think you'll be okay as long as you don't fuck with the global warming agenda or whatever other agenda they got going on at that time.
Yeah, but I think that the reason this is worrisome is because it's going in the like it's the beginning of a trend, I believe. Like last year, Popular Science decided to have to deal with similar issues. Whenever they had to deal with controversies surrounding climate change or another hot topic. So their solution for that was easy. They got rid of the comment section on their webpage,
Yeah.
So I honestly think they're doing a disservice to their readers and to their audience in trying to make them think that in some scientific matters, there's the issue is completely settled. Let's getting back to climate change, you guys know my stance, but even I wouldn't go as far as to say that the issue is completely settled, because nothing in science is 100% settled.
Yeah, it's disappointing to me when they get so much influence over big companies like that and big multimedia companies where they can all of a sudden trigger all these meetings that say, and I don't know, did they name any names? Like, did they talk about...
They named Graham Dunlop specifically.
No,
you were fucking banned from the BBC.
It's a good thing they said Graham instead of Graham.
They said Graham.
Now, in case of...
I do not like grey ham and eggs.
In the case of the climate change, they name Andrew Montfort, who runs the Bishop Hill Climate Skeptic blog, former children's television presenter Johnny Ball and Bob Carter, a retired Australian geologist, are among the other climate skeptics that have appeared on the BBC.
All climate skeptics?
Well, they are mentioning climate change skepticism, but to me it's clear that this particular issue can be extrapolated to other controversial topics where someone who differs from the orthodox viewpoint will be deemed a quote-unquote crank, you know? And to me, the problem is...
I think it's naive to think that hasn't been going on for 50 years.
Yeah, obviously. But maybe now it's getting even harder, you know, it's getting even more...
It's more polarized, right? Like, this is... It's hard for me to wrap my head around it because when we talk to people like our guest coming up tomorrow, Philip Kamala, The Collapse of Materialism, or Rupert Sheldrake, and all this work he's done, it really feels like it's opening up because there's so much evidence coming out that shows that our world is not quite what we think. It's not just, you know, meat and potatoes.
Plus, television is a dying medium anyway.
Yeah, but that's a good point. But it seems to still be growing. Each side seems to be growing, right? The people that want to accept that there's something else out there, and the people that want to maintain our current worldview.
When they really want to shut us up, you know what they'll do? You know who doesn't have time to fucking question their worldview? People who are getting bombs dropped on them in some crazy war.
Well, that's
how you slow down global consciousness fucking development.
No, I think what happens is that, you know, some young BBC staffer or reporter who ideally will, you know, research a particular story for when a whole week or a whole month before, you know, knowing who to invite and just what to present in a program. You know, that will be the ideal scenario, but we all know that's not the case at all. You know, these guys, you know, they have to decide what content to put into the program in maybe a matter of hours.
And what the agenda is going to be and all that.
Yeah, since they don't have the time or maybe even the wits to try to learn about something they're going to talk about on during the airtime, you know, they prefer to go, you know, and say, okay, they're deferring to authority and say, okay, so according to science, according to the academics, this is the what's happening, and everyone who disagrees or dissents, okay, so those are the cranks. And to me, the problem is that, okay, the skeptics might say science is not a democracy. I agree, you know, science is not about, you know, who are the most people who support a given point of view.
It's not a consensus.
Exactly, it's not a consensus. So science is not a democracy, but it also shouldn't be a tyranny, you know?
Yeah.
In which you quell or you eradicate dissent, because sometimes you really do need that dissenting voice willing to speak up and point out that the emperor doesn't have any clothes, and not only that he has a really, really big, small dick, you know?
What? Poor little dick bastard. Yeah,
Exactly.
but you can't blame, it's not science's fault.
No, it's not.
No,
Scientists.
It's the institutions and the money and the governments and...
Yeah, because there is no science. There's only scientists conducting themselves trying to apply the scientific method, and they are based on this hierarchical system, you know, run by academies who are very very strict in their methods and in the way they do business.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. This is one of the things that I can't wait for 10 or 20 years and see what it's going to look like. Where are we going to look back and go, wow, there's a completely new scientific theory that explains way more than we could in 2014, Like, how long is it going to take before something to crack wide open here?
Yeah, we'll probably be complaining about other things, even though some things will be, reluctantly accepted by the mainstream,
Yeah, I mean, I keep coming back to more of the stuff we talk about, but the global warming thing is really climate change or whatever is really the hot topic that's really gonna. I don't know what's gonna happen to that.
50 years down the road.
I mean, we had a couple guys on talking about global cooling, right? And they talked about that in the 70s. So.
Yeah, and let me tell you. The guy who talked about global cooling in Grimerica, honestly, he didn't convince me. Honestly. But having said that, when I heard that episode on the Joe Rogan Experience with this guy, Randall Carlson, he's a guy who studies sacred geometry and also catastrophism. He calls himself a geomythologist, and he discussed global warming and climate change with Joe, and his opinion made a lot of sense. I mean, he was of the opinion that yes, humans are having some influence in the climate, but maybe that influence is not as big as modern science will think, because there are many other things that we may not be taking into account.
Yeah,
like
mainly
for example,
the sun, yeah,
among other things. So that made sense.
The other thing you got to think of is that fucking never once in human history has the Earth been in the same spot in space. You know what I mean? It's not like we're just hanging out in the same corner. Who knows what we're fucking flying in and out of and through, and unpredictable.
Yeah, maybe we're just going through the same position in the galaxy that the planet was like 10,000, 12,000 years ago by the end of the last ice age.
Yeah. Did you see that example of the Earth's field, like our atmosphere getting blown to bits if we were closer to some sort of there was some event that happened across the universe somewhere, and they had a simulation of like if the Earth was here like 20 million miles away, like it just shattered our atmosphere.
That must have been a supernova.
Might have been, yeah.
Oh yeah, if a supernova exploded like 10 to 20 light years away from us, we are fucked.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even limited to that. I think those things can fucking fly across 100 million light years, and that's still fucking, if you happen to be in that fucking beam, you're fucked.
What a pushover, yeah?
Yep.
What?
Get that? What a pushover? Supernova? It's an old Frankie Goes to Hollywood song. You don't get it?
No, I'm not. I'm young.
I forget you're not an 80s kid.
Yeah,
you're a little older than you seem.
I just went like way over the head of most of our listeners. Like, what the fuck? The fuck is Graham talking about?
I'll find a clip for the show to put in the music.
Oh, your sister got it.
What? What is she doing?
She's getting your jokes.
Is she here?
You're lucky. Somebody's getting your jokes. If she wasn't here, nobody would be getting your jokes. Unless RPJ got the joke.
So that was a good one, Red. What else you got for us?
You guys want to talk about UFOs?
Yeah, always.
Okay. On July 2nd, did you happen to know that the CIA opened a Twitter account?
No, but I'm looking for it right now.
Isn't that like...
it?
No, obviously not. Isn't that like the most bizarre thing, A spy
look at that.
agency,
it's verified.
A spy agency that wants to be popular. Like,
Well, no, they
Okay.
just need to get on board because
We are the
everybody
nation.
else
Hey,
is
listen
there.
to this. This is our profile. We are the nation's first line of defense. We accomplish where others cannot accomplish and go where others cannot go. Langley, Virginia. Should I follow him?
A farm.
So
No,
anyway,
don't follow. There's no point in following him.
I only follow 25 people. I wonder if I can get them to follow us. What would I have to say? What buzzwords does my tweet have to get followed by the CIA?
I don't think you want to find out.
No? You think
No.
they'd come all the way up to Canada?
Heard it here,
No.
buddy.
They wouldn't need to go. Don't you think that the CIA has ties with the Canadian government? Don't you guys have some kind of intelligence?
CSIS.
Okay, this is.
Yeah.
That's not a real thing. That's just some numbers,
and
letters they put together so we don't look like we're so behind the times.
It's probably
Hey, what
stands
letters
for
you got in that toolbox? Go spray it on the side of that truck.
CSIS.
It's a bunch of sissies.
I don't know if it's CSIS, but it's probably Canadian Secrets Intelligence Service or something.
Okay.
Yeah. I bet you. I'm pretty close to being right on that one.
Okay, so anyway, the reason I'm bringing up the CIA's Twitter account is because on the July the 2nd, they sent out this tweet. Remember reports of unusual activity in the skies in the 50s? That was us. You know, and along that, they embedded a PDF file about the CIA and the U2 program from 1954 to 1974.
Huh.
So then I found, sorry, I don't know why this goddamn page has sound. Anyway, this article from a Norwegian newspaper, The Local, which reads, Norway's UFO mystery of 1950s finally solved. So it reads, the CIA has revealed sightings of mysterious flying crafts traveling at high speeds with flashing lights were actually test flights of U.S. military aircraft. Top secret U-2 spy planes flying at 18,000 meters created the phenomena, and the CIA recently posted on the Twitter account reports after posting newspapers saying, well, what I just read. The official explanation was kept secret to avoid the Soviets learning of U.S. military intentions during the Cold War.
Huh.
So,
Well, if you
I
look
mean-
at that, it's like their whole Twitter feed is all about that.
yeah, they like celebrated the first flight of the U-2 spy plane. I think it was on June the 30th. But this is what gets me, guys. You know,
The CIA uses a lot of hashtags and talks about selfies. One of their hashtags is sorry, not sorry.
look, this is what gets me, and I tweeted this on my account. You know, so apparently all that it takes to close a whole chapter on UFO cases
As a
history is
Twitter.
one
tweet.
simple fucking tweet.
Yeah.
And everybody is willing to give the CIA a free pass. They don't provide any evidence about, you know, trying to correlate UFO cases in Norway, you know, with specific, you know, missions
Right.
performed by the U-2 planes. You know, that PDF file they release, which, by the way, I don't know why, but you can do a proper word search with it. You know, you type on Acrobat Reader, you know, UFOs. It doesn't give you any results. But on page 72, there's only one very small paragraph mentioning UFOs,
Huh.
and it reads, high altitude testing of the U-2 soon led to an unexpected side effect, a tremendous increase in reports of unidentified flying objects, UFOs, in the mid-50s. In the mid-50s, most commercial airliners flew at altitudes between 10,000 and 20,000 feet, and military aircraft like the B-47s and B-57s operated at altitudes below 40,000 feet. Consequently, once U-2s started flying at altitudes above 60,000 feet, air traffic controllers began receiving increasing numbers of UFO reports. Such reports were most prevalent in the early evening hours from pilots of airliners flying from east to west when the sun dropped below the horizon of an airliner flying at 20,000 feet. The plane was in darkness, but if a U-2 was airborne in the vicinity of the airliner at the same time, its horizon from an altitude of 60,000 feet was considerably more distant, and being so high in the sky, its silver wings would catch and reflect the rays of the sun and appear to the airliner pilot 40,000 feet below to be fiery objects. Even during daylight hours, the silver bodies of the high-flying U-2s could catch the sun and cause reflections or glints that could be seen at lower altitudes and even on the ground. At this time, no one believed manned flight was possible above 60,000 feet, so no one expected to see an object so high in the sky. But here's the interesting part, continuing on the next page. Not only did the airline pilots report their sightings to air traffic controllers, but they and ground-based observers also wrote letters to the Air Force unit at Wright Air Development Command in Dayton, charged with investigating such phenomena. This in turn led to the Air Force's Operation Blue Book, based at Wright-Patterson. The operation collected all reports of UFO sightings. Air Force investigators then attempted to explain such sightings by linking them to natural phenomena. Blue Book investigators regularly called on the agency's project staff in Washington to check reported UFO sightings against U-2 flight logs. This enabled the investigators to eliminate the majority of the UFO reports, although they could not reveal to the letter writers the true cause of the UFO sightings. U-2 and later Oxcart flights accounted for more than one-half of all UFO reports during the late 1950s and most of the 1960s. So basically, here, the CIA is officially acknowledging that Blue Book was a bunch of baloney.
Wow.
That, even if someone saw something in the sky that they knew was a secret, one of their secret spy planes, they would tell, the witness, you just saw, the reflection of Venus, bouncing off some swamp gas coming out of the backside of a bunch of geese flying in the sky or whatever.
That sounds about right.
Exactly, but don't you see? So they are admitting that they lied to the public in the 1950s. But we're supposed to take their word about what
everything
happened.
Else.
Yes, by now, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, guys, but fool me once, shame on you. But fool me twice,
shame on me.
So, what do you guys think?
I don't know. I think it's.
I'm sure that that were a lot of UFO cases in that era, in the 50s and 60s.
That were explained from the U-2. Yeah, it makes sense to me that if an airliner is flying below and the sun is still up at, 60,000 feet, that you're going to see that glinting. I've seen sun glinting off of planes before, and it's damn bright even in the day, right? So, but that doesn't explain all of them. They make it seem like that just explains the whole phenomena from the 50s, right?
Yeah, so, they don't take into account that.
I want to see a fucking black triangle on their Twitter feed.
Look,
check these out, boys.
Forget the fucking shape of the triangle. I don't care about the shape. When those objects display maneuverability that is allegedly incapable, of being copied by conventional aircrafts, then there's when you can't explain those sightings as, just the result of someone confusing a U-2 plane for a flying saucer.
And didn't you mention that was in Norway too, that they're explaining most of the Norway sightings from that time period?
Yeah, and I think that Micah discussed this a bit
And the
on
ghost rockets. Yeah.
on the Micah Henshu. Yeah, but remember, the ghost rockets in the Scandinavian countries. I think it happened in 1940.
Yeah, I think it was before the 50s. Yeah.
So it was before.
So what about
That
the
was the U1.
Are they trying to explain that being the Hestelin lights, or however you call that too? The Hestelin lights in Norway? No, that's not supposed to be an explanation for those, is it?
They don't even care about explaining that.
No.
There's just in this 272-page document, what I just read to you is the only time they mentioned UFOs. That little tiny paragraph, and that's it.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what our feedback from our Norwegian listeners, see what they say about that. And it's funny because I've heard somebody else talking about Blue Book recently. I think they wrote a book on the Hudson Valley sightings.
Oh.
And I would love to do a summary of the sightings from Blue Book and the explanation that they have beside it.
Well, James Fox is finishing up this.
Oh, right.
This new documentary, right? I think it's 701.
Yeah. We should have him on. Yeah.
Who? What?
Yeah.
Where? What?
James Fox.
Who's James Fox?
Oh man.
Oh man. How come everyone says "oh man" when I ask when someone is?
Because it's a very important
documentary.
Filmmaker.
Well,
he did Out of the Blue and I Know What I Saw. Pretty profound. Actually, his UFO DVD that I think I gave you his DVD from Open Minds. You should watch it. It's a really good presentation of his journey
none
through
of
the
fucking
filmmaking.
Volumes worked. Remember?
Yeah. No, that was good.
Hear anyone.
No, that was.
He appeared on Larry King on a number of occasions. Talking about UFOs and discussing it against this guy, the science guy, who's Bill Nye.
Nye, oh boy.
Yeah, and it's a terrible performance on his part, because every time James tried to raise a serious and valid point, Bill Nye would respond with mockery like "woo," like saying, Oh, I know,
it's disgusting. It's disgusting. So, anyways, his new documentary, Darren, is called What is it?
701.
701, which is the amount of unexplained sightings in Blue Book, I think, right?
Yeah.
Or is that right?
Should have made it 710.
And we should infer also that those 701 is also taking out those UFO cases that were actually, sightings of CIA spy planes.
That'll be down to like 300.
Because they wouldn't leave them there.
But there's another part of that Blue Book thing, right? So there's 701 unexplained, but then there's a whole other category that's not really discussed, right?
Yeah,
the unknown or there's the unexplained ones, and then there's the unknowns or something.
I think that the ones that they took out of Blue Book are the unexplained and those who were a matter of national security. Those were on a completely different compartmental. Another different project. One we just don't know because it still remains top secret.
Wow, that's a good one, Red. Thanks.
My pleasure.
I wonder if I've seen Into the Blue. I think I watched a bit
Out of the Blue.
Out of the Blue. Oh yeah, Into the
Blue is the one about
else.
diving in bikinis and stuff like that. This is Out of the Blue.
Guess which one's better?
Nothing wrong with that, but.
Did you hear about that new big bird they found in South Carolina?
I saw Alan Boyle from the Cosmic Log tweet about that, and I did copy-pasted the link, but I didn't read it.
I think they first found the bones like 30 years ago or something, though, so I don't know how it's just getting figured out now, but basically it's like a giant seagull with the fucking 40-foot wingspan.
40 foot?
Oh, yeah.
What?
24. No, as long as a school bus. How long's a school bus? A school bus got to be 40 feet.
The short bus. They said as long as a short bus.
Oh, is it a short bus?
24 is too.
Graham knows all about the short bus. RPJ seems to know even better. He's like, no, it's 24 feet. Telling you I've been on that bus.
7.2 meters, man. That's impressive.
Yeah, that is pretty big. So you think that was responsible for all the
24 feet
Thunderbird?
is nothing.
What? What's an eagle? An eagle's probably like 10 feet.
Oh, that's a book of knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, imagine seeing a 7.2 meter wingspan of a bird flying over you. You know, I mean, it would be.
That's why they call it a Thunderbird, because then fucking the giant seagull shits on you.
Yeah,
or you can just, or even if it shits in the bush beside you, just like.
So it hasn't been proven to be a fake yet or anything like that? I'm surprised that somebody hasn't jumped all over that.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't read the article. By the way, do you guys remember how I mentioned this new scientific theory during the roundtable with Daniele and Rich? This one that said that the human face was molded by millions of years of fist fights between our ancestors, you know?
Yeah.
So Chris Ryan wrote a blog about it in Psychology Today, and he tore the theory to pieces.
Ah, good. I didn't like that theory.
I mean, he's not only from the point of view of, I mean, the guy has practiced martial arts for many years, so he knows that, you know, for a martial artist, you know, to go and punch in the face someone, you know, and the face is really not really the best place to lay a punch. You know, it would be better, you know, if that was the case, you know, it would be better we should have also evolved, you know, some kind of bone protection around our balls, you know, for all those beatings.
Yeah, but wouldn't you want to damage the guy's look so that he doesn't get all the birds afterwards?
I don't think that. No, I think if you go and did battle back in those days was to the death, I think.
Yeah, probably. Eh? So, hey, we got some wingspans on a chart here. Looks like the biggest one really is the California condor from, I don't know if this is just North America or whatever, but bald eagles are 90 inches. California condor is like 9 feet, which is 108 inches. So you're talking about a bird that's over twice the wingspan of the longest bird that's on this list.
Yeah, I don't know. There's an eagle here at 2.8 meters. A Philippinian.
A Philippinian eagle? Hey, how about this? This bird is pretty big, 90 inches.
Look at the size of that fucking thing, man. It's the same size as that dude. Can you imagine seeing that fucking thing drop down out of the sky at you?
Yeah, I could pick you right up.
Ugh, look at the mouth on him.
What about the magnificent frigate bird?
2.8 meters, twice that. But it's a seagull. Imagine how big the eagles were back then.
Back then? How old did they say this thing was?
I don't know. It didn't just like die yesterday, I'm sure.
Oh, I thought it was more of like a recent find. Red, how old is this thing supposed to be?
I don't know. I didn't read the fucking article.
Well, I got it right here. 25 million and 28 million years ago.
Oh, I thought it was
so
recent.
The eagle had like a fucking 100-foot wingspan and was just picking these things off right out of the sky, I bet.
The eagle back then?
Mm-hmm. If there was seagulls back then, why wouldn't there be eagles?
There's no bones.
The seagull was the top of the food chain?
Does it say, maybe, does it say what did these big-ass seagulls eat?
Mexicans.
Okay. Yeah, burritos can do that to you.
No, they were 40 kilos.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy. It's 100 pounds or so, maybe. That's pretty heavy.
That's 100 pounds, 110.
That's pretty heavy for
a bird that flies. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
No, they don't know what it ate. Probably seagull shit, garbage from the Nephilim trash.
Okay. That explains it.
All right, so we should move on here. We've got some pretty fascinating guests coming up. We've got, like I mentioned, Philip Comello, The Collapse of Materialism, and we've also got
David McGowan.
Yeah, something about
weird things inside the canyon.
Weird things in Laurel Canyon, the dark heart of the hippie movement, or something. That's gonna be absolutely fascinating.
Okay, so we're going to get a lot of hate from the New Age 5D community.
That's
Why?
okay. We've been
Why?
pretty nice to the New Age community lately.
Why do you say that, Red? Because of the dark side of the hippie movement?
Well, we already know that Charles Manson was the dark side of the hippie movement, but now this guy is probably going to say that everything in the hippie movement was dark.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's what it's about.
That make love, not war. Peace and all that was just a way to keep the younger generation subdued. Instead of really fighting a revolution that would overturn the government.
Nowadays they do it by legalizing weed.
Yeah, but I don't think that'll piss off the New Agers at all. It doesn't piss me off, and I consider myself more on the New Agey side of things.
Oh yeah, the New Agers aren't hippies; they're just like weird hybrid.
It will piss you off if I think these people have said that Terence McKenna worked for the CIA.
Bingo bango, I believe that.
Oh please!
He's probably running the CIA Twitter account. He faked his death so that they could fake his death for 10 years and come back and run the CIA Twitter account.
There you go, folks. You heard it here first.
See how long it takes that one to make the rounds. Yeah, so I think, do you got anything else before we're going to play our chat with our Money Bomb winner before we jump into the interview with Sheldrake?
Don't forget, we got the UFO quote, too.
Oh, yeah, shit. I thought we just fucking skipped that this week.
You guys, what you should do instead of trying to raise a money bomb?
What's that?
A potato salad Kickstarter campaign.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
I wrote about that. Due to that link that someone tweeted. So this guy, made like a joke Kickstarter campaign. The guy say, basically, I'm just making potato salad. I haven't decided what kind yet. And try to raise like $10 to see if someone would convince him to do the potato salad. But now, guess how much money this guy has raised by now?
I think it was like 27,000, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know. Last time I checked was 23,586. It could easily be more than 30,000 by now.
Who retweeted it?
I don't know, but I mean, the campaign still has 25 days to go.
Is he gonna have to give all these fucking people that contributed? Is he gonna have to send them a bowl of potato salad?
I think so, and I think that.
Oof, I just give the money back, man. 30 grand ain't worth sending out fucking 500 bowls of potato salad.
Well, that's the other the flip side of the coin of Kickstarter. That no matter how much money you quote unquote raise, they get a very hefty cut of it, and then what you're left, maybe it's not enough to pay for all the costs of all the things you promised to your backers.
Just hire a couple, illegal immigrants to do it for you.
There you go. Yeah,
what did you just say?
That my mom makes a mean potato salad,
Subcontracted the whole job to Mexico.
Yeah, so I think that now we need to make the Grimerica macaroni experience. Maybe we could ask for $1 million,
We could easily sell $1 million worth of moon real estate, I think, if we start pushing that hard.
Well, I think you should have already done so, man.
So far, I've been trying to sell moon real estate for a couple episodes now, and I haven't even got anyone kicking the tires yet.
No, yeah. Good luck with that one. Especially since they
That's because you haven't done it properly. You need to make like some kind of pitching video. You need to show like Ram
you gotta
wearing
show
a moon suit or something.
the pics of the Jade Rabbits, the dark side, all the structures on the dark side of the moon. That'll get people excited.
Ooh, yeah, I'll sell it. You can even buy a structure. $5,000, you pick a structure.
Yeah,
Okay,
this
so
one
it
is
says this.
yours.
Hilariously adding stretch goals to keep pace with the donations. Trying 2 different recipes after reaching $100. Throwing a pizza party at $75. Live stream the potato salad's creation. $3. The $3 reward is a bite of potato salad. So everyone who donated $3 gets a bite of potato salad.
That's a lot of bites.
Show me potato salad.
Is it deviled egg potato salad?
Ooh, I'm in.
Yeah, but
we
it
should
needs
donate.
to be made
If it's
with the
deviled egg
eggs.
potato salad, then we'll donate.
It needs to be made with the eggs of that 24-foot long seagull. Like Thunderbird eggs.
Thunderbird egg omelet. I wonder where he is. If he's in Britain, then fucking forget it, because I don't want
No,
him shipping my
he's
potato
in
salad goes bad.
I think he's in Ohio.
I
Yeah,
might make
Columbus,
it.
Ohio.
If he throws it, of course he's in Columbus. If he throws it in a cooler, it might make it. It'd make it to Canada. All right, guys. Well, I think that about wraps it up. We'll jump into our
Profound UFO quote of the week.
And that is time for Graham's profound UFO quote of the week.
now on the website.
It's too bad I didn't have one that I could find from the CIA. I should probably get one from the CIA to match Red's story.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the profound UFO quote of the week is that was us.
All right. So the UFO incident occurred on the USS John F. Kennedy in the summer of 1971. We observed a large glowing sphere over the ship. It looked huge. I would say it was anywhere from 300 or 400 feet to a quarter of a mile, depending on how high it was. That ain't no U-2. A few days later, the commanding officer looked at the camera.
It's a U3.
And I will never forget this. And he said, I would like to remind the crew that certain events that take place on board a major combat vessel are considered classified and should not be discussed with anyone without the need to know. That was the U.S. Navy National Security Agency James Kopf, DP.
DP?
Yeah.
Sounds kinky.
Yeah. So, yeah, what do you think?
I wonder, how many UFO incidents have been witnessed by military personnel and they are unable to disclose it for fear of the repercussions, losing their pension, getting in jail.
They're all just CIA planes anyway, though. We don't even have to worry about that anymore. The UFOs are solved.
Hey, I got somebody from the Department of Physics that kind of fit in with maybe Rupert Sheldrake.
Ah, nice.
What are you asking for, a twofer?
Yeah, can I do another one?
What do you think, Red?
Yeah, I think we can go for a second one.
All right.
Okay, 50,000 virtually reliable people have reported sighting unidentified flying objects. From available information, the UFO phenomena appears to have been global in nature for almost 50,000 years. This leaves us with the unpleasant possibility of alien visitors to our planet, or at least of alien-controlled UFOs. The best thing to do is to keep an open and skeptical mind and not take an extreme position on any side of the question. USAF, Introductory Space Science, Volume 2, Department of Physics, United States Air Force.
So did you just quote a textbook?
I did.
Isn't that more of a... Is that called a quote? Isn't that like a footnote? No, what's
No,
the
it's a
technical
book.
term for that?
It's a book quote.
Yeah, it's a quote.
Book quote?
You are quoting a book.
I don't like it. I'm going to allow it this time, but no more textbook quotes.
All right, buddy.
Okay.
What does virtually reliable mean?
That is almost certain.
Yeah,
Virtually reliable?
yeah.
Means
Yeah.
almost certain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Giving
know.
a 99% certainty.
Kind of like the global climate change enthusiasts.
No, I don't think that's right. I'm gonna type that into my sidekick here.
Anyways, we should move on with the episode, I think, here. So we're going to have a quick little talk with our Money Bomb 50-50 draw winner, Nick. And then we're going to move on to
Nick's a
our
boy.
episode with Rupert Sheldrake. Darren would like to apologize to Nikki from last week, calling him a female. Nick is actually a dude.
Okay.
Oh, and we have to apologize to our Kiwi ambassador.
All right.
What were you? We were talking. Was it last
I
episode?
just said that we had a Kiwi flag up here. I should have mentioned it.
And that somebody had sent us a moai. We should have mentioned that was our Kiwi ambassador.
Our sensitive Kiwi ambassador. We're just testing to see if you still listen.
Yeah, exactly. We weren't sure if he still listens, so now we know.
He's heartbroken by now.
Yeah.
He's never going to talk to
So
you.
Google has never heard the phrase virtually reliable. Just saying.
Well, it's in a USAF textbook, so.
Yeah.
Who
Classified.
makes those? United States government?
Yeah, people
I guess so.
Just
Don't
fill it
Google.
full of mumbo jumbo. All right, guys. We'll play you out here with the Money Bomb winner, Nick, and then we'll jump into our chat with Sheldrake. And then we'll see you guys after that.
Boom.
Okay, we're here with Nick, our latest Money Bomb winner. But first, how's it going tonight, buddy?
Hey, Darren, I'm doing good. How are you, Nick?
Hey, doing well, thank you.
Hey, thanks for subscribing and thanks for entering the Grimerica Money Bomb 50-50. So, as we mentioned in the last episode there, you got, what, just about $100?
Yes, it was a pleasant surprise. I mean, because I've only been a subscriber for a week or two. I didn't even know if y'all had gotten it in yet or not. And then I get a thing from PayPal saying you put $100 in my account, and I was like, wow, I'm way ahead right now.
Hopefully the exchange didn't kill you too bad. Our last winner was in the States too, so our money's not worth quite as much up here. But
Yeah, I noticed that. I was getting a bargain when I sent y'all the $5 a week. It turned out just a little less than that. So, I don't know how often that changes.
So thanks for listening to the show. Is there any episodes you have that sort of stood out for you? Anything like that?
Well, I think I run into y'all. I was looking for Scotty Roberts. I'm a big fan of his, and of course, then you talked to him and John together there later on, and that's a good one. Dennis McKenna is another good one. I just listened last night. Y'all were talking to Sarah. Not sure about her last name there.
Chetkin.
Yes, that was a good interview. There's a lot of, the healing within. I think attitude means a lot, but a little that Qui-Jong stuff I'm not really sure about, but but if you believe, that's the one thing that I really feel strongly about. Your mind can do a lot of good things.
Yeah, it can't really happen if you don't believe, or it's a lot easier if you do believe. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've always felt that.
How about guests or topics that you'd like to hear about?
Well, kind of along the lines that y'all follow a lot, dreams is one thing that I've always been interested in. That's the one thing that I can say I've had maybe a peek across the veil or whatever is I've had a couple of dreams that actually communicated with my daughter one time, and then a good friend I used to room with. So
wow,
I've had that happen a couple of times. So yeah.
So were they living at the time, or had they passed on?
Yeah. Well, my daughter was 4, and I was working away from her, but I just happened to get a night off, an unexpected night off, so it made me a long weekend, and her 4th birthday was that weekend. So I hurriedly made me a plane reservation and was going to fly in to see her and surprise her. But that night, I was excited about that. She found out in a dream that night, and she told my parents and her grandparents on the other side And of course, they're all trying to calm her down because none of them know I'm coming. So when I walk through the door, they're all just shocked, you know. Their mouths open, but she's sitting there smiling. I told you. He told me last night. I'm going to see him, you know.
And you were in your dream. In your dream, you were telling her.
Yeah. And what shocked me later on was she started relating the story to me, and she told me where we were sitting, and then really it jogged my memory then that she was right. I remember that, you know, that setting in my dream also. So
wow, that's a great story.
Yeah, that is a great story.
Yeah, we want to do a podcast on lucid dreaming. I've got a little kit from the Monroe Institute that I still haven't really opened, and I tried it a while back, but we were just talking about that last night, how we want to get into an episode on dreaming. Yeah,
I thought about it when Darren talked about his daughter has said things like that, you know, and I think the kids are a little more cognizant of that sort of thing, you know. I don't know, you know, the fresh mind or whatever it is, but you know, it's pretty wild to me sometimes.
I think it's something to do with while they're still a fresh incarnate, they can still kind of remember the in between.
Yeah, that's good.
So, well, thanks for listening.
What's he gonna do with it?
Oh yeah, what are you gonna do with your $100?
I don't know, really. I just spent about $100 on my phone getting it fixed up. So you know that kind of takes care of that also. But I might just go out and blow this, you know.
Perfect.
There you go.
That's nothing better to do with.
That's right. Talk to the Grimericans on your new phone.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a lot,
Nick.
I
have one question. Okay, I did have one question for you. Who did your flyer? That flyer thing you know you're going to pass out?
That was my wife.
Really? It's pretty. I tried to print some at work last night, but of course I only got a black and white printer. It still looks good, but the one on the website looks really nice. It's really nice.
Technically, the artwork was done by Red Pill Junkie.
Okay.
And then my wife turned it into a flyer for us. But yeah, well, just we owe you an email address too. So shoot me or Graham an email and let me know what you want for an address, and I'll set that up for you.
Okay, I appreciate that. We'll work that out. I just hooked up with y'all on Facebook today, so I'm going to try to see if we can grow these numbers some, man. I appreciate what y'all doing.
Right on. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's great to have you listening, and congratulations again.
All right.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Okay, guys, this morning here on the Grimerica show, we're going to be talking with Rupert Sheldrake, a man we've been trying to and hoping to track down for a while, and we've finally been lucky enough to do so. But first, how's it going, Graham?
Hey, Darren. I'm doing great, man. I'm excited. We've had Rupert Sheldrake on our guest wish list here, and beside his name is just the man. So we're pretty excited to have him here. You know, anytime the guerrilla skeptics are battling over your wiki page, you know you're doing something that's pretty revolutionary. And last year, Rupert was among the top 100 global thought leaders for 2013, as ranked by the Dubway Institute in Zurich. That's Switzerland's leading think tank. And he's written many books, some that our listeners will be aware of, like stuff like 7 Experiments That Could Change the World, Dogs That Know When Their Owners Are Coming Home, The Sense of Being Stared At. His latest is the Science Delusion. That's kind of like in response to the God Delusion. That's freeing the spirit of inquiry. So we've got, he's got a huge bio page here. I'm just summarizing it, and we'll let Rupert tell us more. Welcome to the show, Rupert.
Good to be with you.
Thank you so much. So it's we really appreciate your time here. And, I've been hearing your name all over the place lately especially in the last year or two, and a lot of your past work has kind of been probably brought up to the surface. So what's going on? What's new with your research these days?
Well, part of what I'm doing is the agenda in the Science Delusion, which in America is called Science Set Free.
Right, thanks for pointing that out.
Different title. That's an attempt to move things on in the world of science by looking at these assumptions that have become far too dogmatic and looking at how we can question them and move things on. And this is now part of a movement. And as I went to a conference in the United States in February this year, which led to the launch of a new movement called the Campaign for Open Science. And so there's a group of us now working together on we're all scientists, trying to open things up in science. Now, we haven't yet come out in public with this campaign. We're preparing the website and all that at the moment. But that's a big part of my work, is this attempt to try and move things forward in science in various areas. Morphic resonance, one of my main areas of research, memory and nature, psychic phenomena like telepathy. And then there's other areas of unconventional research, which I think could be the growing points for the new science. So that's one of my big preoccupations at the moment. Another is going ahead with my own research projects. I have an automated telephone telepathy test that works on mobile phones. I'm just developing a new version of that at the moment. We're testing it out. It'll go live, I hope, within a matter of weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to try that.
Those are some of the things I'm up to.
I can't think of a more noble cause than to try and move that science forward. Like, I was going to ask you. I mean, you're right on the front line with the skeptics there. You've got your website is open for anybody to look at your responses to their criticisms of you and that type of thing. So I don't know. I just think that's a great thing you're trying to do. It must be very tiring, though.
Well, it's annoying to have to deal with the same kinds of arguments over and over again. And I have no problem with genuine skepticism, which is about inquiry. No, I think of myself as a skeptic. The problem I have is with sort of ideologically driven dogmatic skeptics who feel they need to debunk anything that goes against the materialist worldview, the doctrine, the mind's nothing but the brain, and so forth. Mm-hmm. I was giving a talk at the Glastonbury Festival just a few days ago, and most people there were quite open, but there always has to be one of these dogmatic skeptics, and who says, there's no evidence for this, and it turns out that they haven't looked at the evidence. They don't want to know about the evidence. It's really tedious to have to deal with that, but it has to be dealt with because they have a lot of influence, and there are many people who are genuinely curious, who genuinely want to know the evidence, and who don't realize it's there. So this is an ongoing struggle. It's very important to engage with skeptics, I find.
Yeah.
That's funny. That kind of goes right with something RPJ just texted me to ask you at some point. And he says it's a quote by Arthur Schopenhauer. That's basically all truth passes through 3 stages. First, it's ridiculed. Second, it's violently opposed. And third, it's accepted as being self-evident. Do you think we're getting any closer to being in the 3rd stage of that, or are we still stuck back in the 1st?
Well, I think it depends what you're looking at. For example, some of my research has been on psychic phenomena in dogs. This is summarized in my book, Dogs That Know When Their Owners Are Coming Home. Not just dogs, but cats, horses, parrots, other animals. Now, when it comes to the question of can dogs or cats pick up your intentions telepathically, the great majority of people in the population are completely open to that. I mean, after all, in America, more than 50% of households have pets, and people who live with these animals notice these things. And so that's a really kind of mainstream view. Yes, of course they do, most people would say. And when it comes to things like, can you tell when someone's calling on the phone? Do you ever have the experience of thinking of someone who then rings and you say, it's funny, I was just thinking about you? About 80% of the population have had those experiences. So we're talking here something that's very mainstream, very common, very normal, and most people actually don't question it. It's the skeptics who are really in a kind of minority position of trying to say this is impossible, it doesn't really happen, etc. So I don't think that they actually represent the mainstream of opinion. They may represent the kind of mainstream of opinion within certain rather dogmatic scientific circles, but if we take the population as a whole, they're actually quite a small minority.
Yeah, I agree with you. Most of the people I talk to on a day-to-day basis are fairly open-minded, and it seems like the further we go on here, the more people have, let's say, unexplainable experiences or strange experiences. I mean, we talk about all kinds of stuff on this show, like paranormal encounters or psychic phenomena or energy healing, that type of thing. And it seems like there are skeptics, there are scientists that are having experiences, whether it's like a UFO sighting, that are kind of bringing them over to more of an open-minded side of things. So I think that's also helping over time.
Yes, I think so, and for people being able to recognize their own experience. I mean, scientists, after all, are normal people, or at least most of them are, and when I've given talks on telephone telepathy in scientific institutes, I've asked people, have you had this experience? And, about 80% of scientists have had these experiences too. They may try and explain them away, but whenever I talk in scientific institutions or in universities and research institutes, after my talk, I always have people coming up to me and saying, I've had these experiences, I can't talk about them to my colleagues because they're all so straight. And often quite a lot of people from the same department tell me the same thing, which is why I think that what will really change the sciences is a kind of coming out movement among scientists, because a lot of them already know these things happen. They'd like to have kind of scientific evidence to, as it were, authenticate what they already know from their own experience. And most of them are indeed shy to talk about these things with their colleagues because there is still this taboo. But I think the best way of weakening the taboo is just to ignore it, and that's what I do myself.
Do you think over-specialization is becoming a problem in science as well?
I think that's part of it, but it's the prejudice against psi phenomena and things that go against the materialist worldview is not just that, because after all, popular science magazines like New Scientist explain all sorts of things in cosmology and quantum physics and so forth, but they don't publish articles in these other disputed areas, partly because they're afraid and partly because some members of their staff strongly materialist and rather dogmatically skeptical. But so people are very often not aware of unconventional scientific research and things that aren't part of the materialist mainstream, even though it's published in journals and so forth, because it's not often written about in mainstream scientific or general publications.
Can you explain to us, for let's say for people that aren't really too familiar with your work, could you summarize what the difference between your sort of worldview on sort of evolution or biological evolution or the memory of biology, like you talk about, compared to the mainstream sort of evolutionary theory?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I'm totally into evolution. That's, it's the basis of my theory, that it's evolutionary. I think that biological evolution is part of a much larger process, cosmic evolution, that's been going on in the whole cosmos since the Big Bang, and that this evolution doesn't just involve the evolution of the universe, it getting bigger, the appearance of stars, planets, crystals, molecules, and so forth. But it involves the evolution of the laws of nature as well. The usual assumption in science is that all the laws of nature were fixed at the moment of the Big Bang, and they've been the same thereafter. I don't think that's the case. That's just a huge assumption. We've no way of proving it. I think the so-called laws of nature are more like habits, and that they build up through repetition as the universe evolves. And my theory of morphic resonance is really a theory of how this memory works, how cosmic habits build up, and how there's a kind of collective memory in each species. The idea of morphic resonance is that similar patterns of activity influence across space and time subsequent similar patterns. And this leads to a new interpretation of biological inheritance. Genes code for proteins, everybody agrees about that, but they don't, in my view, code for the forms of organisms, the behavior, or the instincts of animals. Those depend on morphic resonance. They're inherited through this kind of collective memory. And similarly, most scientists assume that our own memories are stored inside our brains, that they're somewhere inside the head, although no one quite knows how or where. But what I would say there is that again is a case of morphic resonance. The brain's more like a TV receiver than a video recorder. And the reason we tune into our own memories is because we're more similar to ourselves in the past than we are to anybody else. But we also tune into other people's memories, and that's part of the collective memory phenomenon that the psychologist Jung called the collective unconscious. So those are some of the ways. In my book, Science Set Free, I show how the 10 dogmas of science can all be interpreted, and it can be revised, and we can have new possibilities. Those are some of the dogmas, that memories are stored in the brain, that inheritance happens only through genes and epigenetics, and that the laws of nature are fixed. And those are all ones where my own theory of morphic resonance challenges the established view.
Speaking of the laws of the universe and such, have you seen, as someone who's challenged the theory of the speed of light before, have you seen the new paper by James Franzen challenging that?
I've just seen it, yes. It's very interesting. And, I've always thought that the speed of light thing is one of the dogmas. In fact, in Science Set Free, I discuss it in the chapter on, the laws being fixed, because people assume the constants are fixed too. Yes, I think these, you see, as soon as these things start being discussed, as this recent work on the speed of light does, all sorts of new possibilities open up. Science gets much, much more interesting, and I'm really pleased that this debate is opening up. I hope he is able to carry it forward.
So have you seen an increase in your work since the whole TED fiasco?
Well, certainly far more people are aware of my work since that fiasco, because when my TEDx talk was removed from their main website, this led to a big controversy. When they took it down, it had 35,000 views. It's now had at least 1 million worldwide. So it was actually a help rather than a hindrance.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at, yeah.
Yes. And it's made the idea of questioning this kind of dogmatism in science, I think, more widespread, and I hope that more people within the sciences are doing this. Plenty of people outside science are now questioning science, because it's obvious to a lot of people that some scientists are very dogmatic. But within the sciences, what will change things is when young scientists feel empowered to do research rather differently from the traditional way. And right now, it's very hard for them to do that because they're afraid of losing funding and not getting on in their careers and so forth. So the problem is, I think, more to do with the sociology and funding and structure of science than it is to do with the actual scientific arguments. So what's really needed is a fresh approach to funding, for example. And this is where some of these wealthy individuals could come in, because I don't think government science funding is likely to change anytime soon. It's controlled by a whole bureaucracy dominated by establishment scientists. But if any wealthy person really wants to make a difference, funding unorthodox science might be one of the very best ways to do it.
Yep. One thing I've got to ask you before we run out of time is we do on our show, we do a little segment on synchronicity, and people send them in, and I kind of rate them rather harshly. But it is something we're definitely interested in. What's your take on synchronicity, and what would you define a synchronicity as?
Well, when Jung, who introduced the word, used it, he used it in a very wide sense to include things that could be called telepathic or psychokinetic, mind over matter or telepathy events. I take synchronicity to be, I put those in different categories. I take it to be more a matter of meaningful coincidences, where seemingly separate events coalesce to give a kind of meaning. Now that, I have no explanation for that. I mean, it's a morphic resonance. My own theory is really a theory of habit. It doesn't explain synchronicity, which is precisely remarkable because it's not habitual, it's unexpected, it's not what usually happens. So I think there's an element of freedom and creativity in the universe. The whole of evolution must depend on an interplay between habit and creativity. And synchronicity may be part of that creative spirit that works through everything in ways we don't understand. But that's pretty vague, and I don't have a testable theory of synchronicities. I just find them fascinating, as most people do, and they show there's something going on that's not part of our normal framework of understanding. But beyond that, I don't think I've got very much to say.
No, I think that summed it up pretty nicely. I think there's a lot of things going on behind our framework of understanding that maybe, hopefully, one day will start to peel out. Maybe this large movement of people going to the Peru and the Amazon and psychedelics opening up. In my personal opinion, that's one way to peek through the veil.
Yes, I think it can help. Still doesn't give us. It may give us more experiences. It doesn't give us necessary explanations. Anyway, I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave you because I've got this incredibly crowded schedule today. But can I just mention that if anyone's in the Pacific Northwest, from July the 23rd to the 22nd at Hollyhock on Cortes Island, British Columbia, I'm giving a workshop called Aging and Growing Young Again with my two sons, Merlin and Cosmo, aged 26 and 24. And we're all very excited about this. One of them's a biologist, Merlin. Cosmo is a musician. I was just at the Glastonbury Festival, and I was talking there, and they had a gig there at the same time with one of their bands, the Gentle Mystics. So I think this workshop will be really fun. So I'd like to mention it, just in case anyone might be in that area or could go there, because of all the workshops I do, I think this will be the most interesting and creative this year. And the details are on my website, which is www.sheldrake.org.
Yeah, we'll link to all that in the show notes. Yeah, that sounds great. We're actually quite close to there. We're about a 12-hour drive from there.
Maybe we'll send Graham.
Yeah.
Good. Well, check it out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, go ahead.
And we're doing a talk in Victoria as well, my wife and I, on Friday, July the 11th at Christchurch Cathedral.
That's my birthday.
Oh, well, there you are. You're not in Victoria, are you?
No, we're close. We're in Calgary, so.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule to come on the show today, Rupert. We hope your chat goes well tonight, and hopefully we can do this again down the road sometime for a little bit longer.
Yes, indeed. Hopefully later in the year or early next year, I should be a bit more free.
Great. Thanks a lot. Continue the good battle.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All the best.
And we're back to the Grimerica show. That was our long-awaited chat with Rupert Sheldrake.
Yeah, it would have been nice to go a little longer, but we'll take what we can get. It was definitely fun. Great chat.
It's amazing how much you can pack into like 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah, he gets right to the point.
Yeah, and we got some new dirt, some new stuff there. He's doing that movement called the Campaign for Open Science, I think it's called. I'll have to check my notes there, but yeah, that's great. Like that's the type of thing that's going to change the world, man.
Yeah, he's coming over to Canada. Yeah, big thanks to Rupert. I think he was doing the chat from the back office of his. Wasn't he doing a conference or a talk or something right away?
Yeah, and he was just finished a 3-day thing in Glastonbury, I think. So
always doing something.
Yeah,
that's good. Fighting the good fight.
Yeah, that's great.
He's on the front lines, just like Philip.
Yep, Philip Camella.
Yeah, we talked to him earlier. He's kind of along the same lines. That episode will come out next week, probably the week after.
Yeah, that's the collapse of materialism. I mean, I would say Rupert's quite a ways up the front, at the front lines. Philip's there.
For sure.
But, yeah.
Yeah, so big thanks to Rupert for coming on. He's coming over to Canada here right away, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Victoria?
to Vancouver Island. Yeah, Victoria. July 11th, I think, coming up this weekend. He's doing something out there.
Jesse Cole's in Victoria. So, hey, Jesse, check it out, man. Field reporter.
Yep. A Grimerican field reporter.
Yeah. So, next week, we're not sure who's coming out next week. We got a whack episodes.
Yeah.
Like we said, they'll probably be coming out a little quicker than weekly now. We're doing all these double interview nights and stuff like that, and we don't want them to pile up too much. We don't want too many to sit on the shelf, so we'll start firing some your way pretty quick here.
Yeah, we probably won't be able to keep up this pace, but we don't want to push, we want to take advantage when people are available, so.
Yep, and of course, thanks to Nicky for joining us on the Money Bomb, winning the Money Bomb.
Yeah, and keep contributing. Please helps out our expenses, helps the show stay afloat.
Yeah, subscribe to the show. It's nice because, it helps us pay the bills. So let's try and get up to that 100 subscriber mark. The last 2 Money Bombs in a row I've had to carry over. And plus, I think the show only took around $30 or $40 per. So let's try and get this one over in 1 month, and let's try and make this one the first where we each get $100. The show gets $100, and the listener gets $100.
Yeah, and with a $5 subscription, Darren gives you an email address if you want one. He's only going to do 100 of them probably, so that's our goal. Kind of 100 email addresses, 100 subscriptions. It'll keep us going at pretty much at that rate.
And we do have, I did want to mention, we do have a couple people that donate monthly the same amount, and it's not on the subscription, and it's whatever amount they want. But the people that are doing that, if they want an email, if they're donating monthly and they want an email, they can go ahead and send me an email, and we can probably make it happen.
Sweet. And then the other thing you want to mention is this is all free content, right? Like we don't want to do ads. We don't want to be charging anything. We're not going to have a plus episode or anything like that, or some,
that seems the way a lot of the people are going, and we decided we're not going to go that route. I mean, either we make it or break it as the Money Bomb. This is it. So
yeah, and you don't have to donate or contribute money to get in either. You can send a picture of the flyer via email to anybody on the contact page. You could also send a postcard to the PO box.
Yep.
This is not a lottery. Cannot emphasize the fact that this is not a lottery enough. It's like a 50-50 draw.
For money. All right, guys, I think that's about it. Thanks for listening. We'll have everything in the show notes as usual, as well as all the music you heard.
Tweet Darren at Grimerica.
Spam the shit out of Graham.
GRAHAM at Grimerica.com.
keep them occupied until